It was great. I think what we can rely on with Marvel always is like they have a certain consistency when it comes to workflows, and therefore you can start early on and plan ahead. They will provide you with all the necessary data and all that. So that's always a good thing to have.
Yeah, but also lots of guidance from like Geoff and,
Yes.
and Ralla, of course. And you were given lots of creative freedom to do many things.
True. Yeah, they're super nice people with good guidance and feedback, so we were happy to have them. So we had mainly set extension, classical set extension for interior shots. We had to tackle two main environments. One of it was Shuri's lab, which is some kind of cylindrical lab in Wakanda beneath Mount Bashenga in that case. And therefore it was surrounded by rock face mostly, but we also had a nice view outside into a vibranium mine. The second environment we needed to do was
Nemo's Cavern.
Exactly, Nemo's Cavern. That was like the Telecan based environment where, yeah, it was also mostly cave stuff. But yeah, a lot of other things, smaller things to tackle within that environment, yeah. We had a lot of freedom on helping designing the whole interior stuff and all the elements in there, the individual ones. And it was quite, yeah, a creative thing to make decisions on our own. And although this was really nice to have, because you usually don't have that as much, the whole creative part of it made it challenging, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing to note is that a lot of the like the assets that we worked on, for example, looking at it right now, we have it right in front of us, the DNA helix. It's something that you kind of came back to in the film a lot. I mean, you open with it, and so much, it was basically based on whether her success, right, in rebuilding the heart-shaped herbs, and which we also had to create. And so we had to make sure, because there were such key points in the film, to make sure that they looked good.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I mean, if you look at it, it's a rather simple thing to create. It's mainly spheres.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's that simple, it's also hard to visualize it and to, I don't know, make it play with the surrounding objects and all that. So yeah, it was definitely challenging to design all that.
We always knew it was headed in the right direction, because if something wasn't working, it would get called out pretty quickly, and then that time gets reinvested into the things that did matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think what we're always trying to do is communicating the idea and the client's vision, but then we kind of rely on the artists, obviously, to execute that and to come up with ideas, and the team did a great job on that.
At its peak, we had around between 60 to 70 artists, I would say. But all in all, with artists coming in and out, we had close to, I'd say close to 100 in the end. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Multiple times we enjoyed watching friends and family screenings in the beginning with quite some rough cuts. But then we watched it twice in cinema. And we were invited to the cast and crew screening in LA from Marvel's side. So it was a nice experience and journey.
For me, at least, it was my first time kind of being invited to have a view of the edits as they were progressing along. So all the friends and family screenings online. It was certainly a really nice thing to be a part of that, because you could see just the evolution of the film from the kind of like I don't know if it's the very first cut, but it certainly felt like that, and all the changes along the way. So even when it came to production and thinking about what we wanted to do, we could already catch what was still in the film and what wasn't, and go from there. So it was super helpful, right?
And that made you feel as part of the progress even more than usual.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We always knew what everybody was up to. We could see everyone's shots and where everyone was in that process. So it wasn't too bad. I mean, obviously there were a couple of shared assets that we had. The Midnight Angel suit, for example, was something that was shared.
Yeah, I mean, usually you try to start as early on, obviously, to see where potential hurdles are. but it kind of helped to receive some early rip versions of the other vendors' work, obviously, to take that in and see what we can do with it, and to start at least. And then we swapped them out on the go. So,
but also what we noticed, I guess, with assets like the rebreather was that it was being tackled from two sides, because we were asked to develop it, and meanwhile there was a different studio that was developing it as well. And I think in the end it was just what worked from both sides was just put together. Yeah,
and then see what comes out at the end of it. I think it's a fair approach to do, to see how different vendors come up with the same task and provide different solutions, and then in the end try to merge it together or use just one of it, whatever's more successful. So yeah, that's what happens here as well.
Yeah, the best of both explorations.
Yep. We also watched it with the whole team to basically wrap the whole project.
Quite a few members of the Munich team were juniors, so it was also their first time having their names on the screen. And suffice to say, it was quite a rowdy cinema when we were there, because they were all yelling. Yeah,
but it was a nice thing to experience, because the good thing with our shots was that we were constantly revisiting Shuri's lab and the Telecon cave and all that, so it was over the whole course of the movie. Yeah. And that's why it never kind of ended with the crowd and people cheering. So it was pretty nice.
I mean, basically you started with it and you ended with it. Yeah. So that was cool.